The command deck corridor was enveloped in tense silence as the crew of Ascension 7 watched Yggdra, the once legendary planet, float on the command screen. It was a planet lost in time and history, surrounded by mysteries and rumors. Captain Wren Naylor, known for her courage and wit, stood tall, analyzing every detail of that unknown planet with a firm yet reflective expression. The light from the screen reflected on her face, revealing a thin scar on her jaw, reminder of past battles. She turned to the navigation officer, Finn Lorak, a strategist known for his pragmatism. His gaze was cold and calculating, yet there was a lightness in the way he addressed Wren. "Captain, we're picking up an energy pulse coming from an unknown source in the northern hemisphere," Finn said, frowning as he observed the readings. The energy's intensity fluctuated, suggesting it was not a stable field. Wren gave a faint smile. "It seems Yggdra still holds a few surprises. Let's proceed with caution. We won't compromise on safety." As Finn activated the shield protocols, a third crew member, Drell the Syrian, one of the most enigmatic members of the crew, sensed something strange around him. Syrians possessed empathic abilities, attuned to energies almost like a sixth sense. His eyes, a shimmering violet hue, were glazed over, as if seeing beyond the physical realm. Drell whispered, "This planet, it feels familiar somehow, like there's a distant voice calling." "Drell, are you all right?" Wren asked, her concern barely concealed. It was rare to see him like this. He blinked slowly, returning to himself, and nodded. "I am, Captain, but I can't shake the feeling, as if we're being watched." Finn shook his head, skeptical. "You Syrians, always with those intuitions. I'd say we forget that and focus on the sensors." Wren shot Finn a warning look before turning to Drell, with a slight nod of respect. "Either way, let's stay cautious. Something tells me Yggdra is more than just a mystery. Whatever's hidden here won't be easy to unravel." As Ascension 7 entered Yggdra's atmosphere, it was enveloped in a thick, dense fog that made the planet appear even more isolated and enigmatic. The clouds were a deep, almost supernatural blue, as if the sky were cloaked in a sapphire veil. As the ship descended, the crew began to notice unusual geological formations. Mountains rose with disconcerting symmetry, and cracks in the ground formed straight lines, as if a massive star map was etched into the landscape. Finn watched the data on the monitors with wide eyes. "Captain, this isn't natural. Each of these formations, it's too precise to be mere geological coincidence." Wren examined the panel with equal intensity, though less astonished. "Something or someone designed this. Yggdra has secrets buried in its stones, and it seems our presence here hasn't gone unnoticed." As they descended further, Drell closed his eyes and breathed deeply, almost as if he could feel the planet in his lungs. He muttered words in an ancient language, words that seemed to belong neither to space nor time. Finn looked at him, uncomfortable. "Drell, cut it out with the ancient language. It's strange enough just being here." But before Drell could respond, the ship's sensors picked up a new energy signature. Wren narrowed her eyes. "Prepare for the unexpected. Something is approaching." After hours of careful, meticulous exploration, the team finally discovered a dark tunnel partially covered by debris. The corridor walls seemed to pulse, reflecting the green light of their lanterns in a pattern that mesmerized the crew as they advanced. The tunnel seemed to have been built for a long-lost civilization, with indecipherable symbols carved into the walls. As Wren led the way forward, she felt an odd familiarity with the place, as if she had been there before in some distant memory. "Whatever this place is, it was built to last for ages," she remarked, her gaze never leaving the path ahead. Finn tried to examine the walls, but the complexity of the materials was unlike anything he had ever seen. "This isn't metal nor stone, it's something I can't identify. Perhaps some kind of modified crystal." Drell followed close behind, still muttering disconnected words. It was as if something was calling him forward, as though the walls responded to his voice, amplifying its sound. Suddenly, a metallic sound reverberated in the distance, echoing down the corridor and making the crew freeze. Ren turned, her eyes alert. Did anyone else hear that? Finn nodded, one hand on his communicator. It seems we're not alone down here. The underground chamber opened before them like a monumental hall, larger than any natural or artificial structure they had ever seen. The dome ceiling was illuminated by points of light that danced like stars. In the center, floating several meters above the ground, was the Nexus. It was a massive ring of bluish energy, spinning slowly, with a hypnotic force that drew every team member in. Ren approached cautiously, and then a voice, deep, resonant, and ancient, filled the air. It wasn't just a sound, but a vibration they felt in their bones. Welcome, travelers of the stars. You have reached the Nexus of Yggdra, guardian of the secrets and memory of a forgotten people. The words were clear, yet they seemed to echo from distant eras. Finn looked around, searching for some rational explanation, but found only awe. Captain, this is impossible. Nothing should have survived here for so long. Drell, on the other hand, was in a trance. His words flowed like a prayer. The Nexus isn't just an artifact. It's a living entity. We stand before the very essence of Yggdra's ancient inhabitants. Ren's mind whirled. What she saw before her seemed to be a portal to an era where power and knowledge transcended modern understanding. With a cautious tone, she asked, "Why are we here, Nexus? What do you desire?" The response was clear but enigmatic. You were called, for that which sleeps here must not remain in the shadows. The key to the universe's future rests on Yggdra. The Nexus began projecting images in the air around them, a succession of scenes telling the story of an ancient people who mastered forces and powers beyond comprehension. It was a civilization that had achieved immortality, not through physical bodies, but by transferring their consciousnesses into the Nexus, an entity that preserved their memories, knowledge, and emotions. Through the images, Ren saw monumental battles and scientific advancements that could bend the laws of physics. The ancient inhabitants of Yggdra possessed the secret of fluid matter, a substance capable of transforming reality itself. The power to shape existence itself, murmured Drell as the images faded, leaving only the echo of their grandeur. They haven't left. They are here, with us, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Ren felt the weight of this knowledge bearing down on her. She knew that if revealed, it could bring advancements, but also destruction. As they reflected on what they had discovered, the Nexus emitted a wave of energy that seemed to reactivate something dormant underground. In moments, ancient drones and automatons worn by time began emerging from the shadows, activated by the pulsing of the Nexus. Ren and Finn exchanged quick glances, a silent agreement. They were surrounded, but instead of attacking, the drones formed a circle around the Nexus, like steadfast guardians of a sacred treasure. The captain whispered to Drell, "They don't want us to leave with this knowledge. They're here to ensure that Yggdra remains protected." With the drones forming a blockade, the team prepared for an inevitable confrontation. Ren raised her weapon and gave a quick command. "If we can't escape, we must find a way to negotiate with the Nexus." Ren took a deep breath, her voice firm and authoritative. "Nexus, we hear and respect your call. But the universe has the right to know its past. We did not come to plunder or steal. We came to learn and to protect." There was a pause, and then the Nexus spoke. "You are worthy, but the price of knowledge is wisdom. Who has the wisdom to bear this burden?" The captain pondered. There was something in that question that made her question her own motives. After a moment of reflection, she lowered her weapon, showing respect. "We wish to preserve, not exploit. We will accept whatever conditions you impose, as long as we can share what is here with due care." After the intense negotiation with the Nexus, Ren and her team felt a dense energy filling the chamber. A deep sound echoed throughout the hall, and a passage slowly opened in the opposite wall. Below the main structure of the Nexus, a hidden door led to an even deeper chamber. Ren, Finn, and Drell exchanged tense looks, and soon decided to follow the open path, guided by the knowledge the Nexus seemed willing to share. As they ventured inside, They found themselves in a corridor of monumental architecture, with columns rising to a ceiling adorned with intricate constellations. Each step, a muffled drum-like echo filled the chamber, creating a strange, almost hypnotic melody. Drell seemed entranced by the constellations, murmuring, "These stars, each one marks a world where the ancients left their legacy. Yggdra is just one of the keys." Ren advanced with steady steps, her gaze unwavering. Is this corridor a trap or a testament? We'll find out. The team finally reached the end of the corridor, where a vast chamber expanded, revealing an impressive sight. A crystal structure floating at the center, radiating colorful lights in mesmerizing patterns. Ren realized that the crystal acted as a repository containing the knowledge and memories of Yggdra's ancient inhabitants. As they approached, images began forming in the air around them, revealing scenes from a distant past. The planet had once been threatened by invaders eons ago, and its inhabitants, unable to win the war, had transferred their consciousnesses and memories into this structure, transforming themselves into a collective intelligence, the Nexus. It kept their civilization alive in a non-physical form, awaiting a time when it would be safe to restore them. Ren was visibly moved, witnessing the struggle for survival that had led Yggdra's inhabitants to make this sacrifice. The Nexus shared a fragment of its memory with her, enveloping her mind in a whirlwind of emotions and visions, briefly connecting her with Yggdra's ancient people. She felt their hopes and fears, their struggles, and their desire to protect their knowledge and wisdom for the future. Drell, beside her, seemed in sync with the Nexus. They sacrificed their physical bodies, but they're here in essence. They want to be reborn. The Nexus transmitted one last message to Ren, projecting its words directly into her mind, a subtle but undeniable intuition. It offered her a choice. Her team could return to the universe with the knowledge of Yggdra and share it. But in doing so, the essence of the Nexus would dissipate, its inhabitants merging forever into the galaxy's energy. Or they could seal the portals, preserving the Nexus so that the ancients might one day return when a race worthy of understanding and respecting them would emerge. The choice weighed on Ren like a colossal burden. Her mind flashed with images of the universe, of the scientific and technological progress this knowledge could fuel, but at the cost of erasing an entire civilization's existence forever. Finn watched Ren with an apprehensive look. "Captain, we might be the only ones capable of making this decision. But what if we're not ready to handle the consequences?" Drell, in his soft voice, added, "If we reveal everything, there's no guarantee others will respect Yggdra's essence. We might gain power, but at what cost?" Ren took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a moment before responding. "Their knowledge belongs to them, not to us." As Ren and her team prepared to make the final decision to seal the Nexus, an energetic shift was felt. The air grew heavy, and a powerful, almost palpable presence emerged from the crystalline structure, the Guardian. It was the physical projection of the Nexus inhabitants, an advanced artificial intelligence created to protect Yggdra's legacy. Its presence commanded respect and a blend of awe and fear. The Guardian spoke with a firm, echoing voice, transmitting its words directly into the crew's minds. "You have proven yourselves worthy of understanding our history. But, as Yggdra's protectors, we will not allow our knowledge to be corrupted." Ren stood tall, facing the Guardian with determination. "We have no intention of destroying your legacy, only of respecting it." The Guardian inclined slightly, considering her words before replying. "If you choose to seal this place, you will have our eternal gratitude. But know this, there will be a consequence." The crew remained silent, absorbing the gravity of the moment. They agreed to honor the Guardian's request, sealing the structure and protecting Yggdra's knowledge for a future age. With the agreement finalized, the Guardian guided them back through the corridor that had brought them here. As they moved forward, the Nexus began to pulse rhythmically as if bidding them farewell. Ren, Finn, and Drell walked side by side, each lost in thought. They knew they had witnessed something monumental, something that would mark their lives forever. Before reboarding the ship, Drell turned to the sealed entrance of the Nexus, murmuring a final prayer in his native tongue. Ren placed a hand on his shoulder in a rare gesture of consolation and camaraderie. "We leave Yggdra with a promise of protection," she said, "and we will ensure it remains more than just a legend." Finn nodded in agreement. "May their knowledge stay untouched until the universe is ready." Back in space, Ascension 7 slowly drifted away from Yggdra, leaving behind a planet that remained dormant, waiting for the right time to reveal its true history. The crew kept the secret, aware that sharing what they had seen would bring consequences the universe was not yet prepared to face. We were on Yggdra, a planet where life transcended matter, where knowledge was more valuable than any physical power. May our decision protect this treasure until the universe itself proves worthy of unveiling the wisdom of a forgotten civilization.